village, nestled between green hills and flowing rivers, lived an ordinary woman named Radha. She wasn't famous, nor did she have great wealth, but she was content. Radha spent her days tending to her home, cooking meals for her family, and helping her neighbors whenever they needed a hand. To the outside world, her life seemed simple, almost insignificant. One day, a stranger arrived in the village. He was a well-known writer from the city, looking for inspiration for his next big story. As he wandered through the village, he came across Radha, who was busy planting flowers outside her modest home. "Excuse me," the writer said, "I'm looking for extraordinary people with great stories. Do you know anyone like that around here?" Radha paused for a moment and then smiled gently. "Extraordinary people? I'm afraid I don't know many. Life here is quite simple." The writer, disappointed, continued his search through the village, speaking with merchants, farmers, and elders. Yet, no one seemed to have the grand story he was looking for. Frustrated, he decided to return to the city the next day. That evening, as he sat at the local inn, he noticed something curious. A group of villagers had gathered near Radha's home. They were laughing and sharing food, with Radha quietly moving among them, offering help and spreading warmth. It wasn't a grand scene, but there was something about the way everyone seemed drawn to her, how her small actions created a sense of peace and togetherness. The next morning, just as the writer was about to leave, he found himself walking back to Radha's house. "May I sit with you for a moment?" he asked, feeling unsure of why he was so compelled to return. Radha welcomed him, offering tea as they sat under the shade of a large tree. "I've been thinking," the writer began. "Yesterday, I was searching for an extraordinary story, but I couldn't find one. Then, I saw how you bring people together with such simplicity. It's not dramatic or loud, but it feels important. How do you do it?" Radha smiled, stirring her tea. "I don't do much. I simply live, listen, and give where I can. Life isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, everyday acts of kindness that ripple through the people around you. What you saw yesterday wasn't about me. It was about the echoes of those little acts." The writer sat quietly, letting her words sink in. He realized that in his pursuit of something extraordinary, he had overlooked the power of a simple life lived with intention and kindness. Radha's life, though ordinary on the surface, was extraordinary in its impact. When the writer returned to the city, he didn't write the grand, action-packed story he had imagined. Instead, he wrote about Radha and how the quietest lives often create the loudest echoes. The story touched the hearts of many, reminding them that true greatness is not in what you achieve, but in how you touch the lives of others. Moral: the power of a life well lived doesn't lie in fame or wealth, but in the small, everyday acts of kindness that leave lasting echoes in the hearts of those around us.